Well, hello, everybody. That's right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another bonus special edition episode of Phase Zero. Brandon is out of here. He's gone. We've lost him somewhere in the multiverse. We don't care. Doesn't matter. Because we're here tonight to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Couldn't do it without Jenna Anderson, Liam Crowley, and Aaron Perrine.
Hello, everybody.
This is the lineup.
I was going to say, how much longer are you going to vamp for, Jim? I feel like you could just keep going for half an hour.
Look, I can go forever. Look, if you are just finding us because you're excited about Ant-Man, Quantumania, and all that jazz, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's the only solid I'll do, Brandon, for this show. Otherwise, make sure you tune in every Monday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, for a wild podcast has appeared. That's it. That's all I'm here for.
Oh my God, we got the logo.
Look, Richard has my back. Richard knows what's up.
You're gonna go into like super after this. Like Brandon is not going to be happy. Oh my gosh, Scott Lang broke you out of jail once, and that's why you're here for this episode.
That's it. I am the true Scott Lang of comicbook.com, breaking out of jail cells left and right. All right, guys. First impressions. We just need to jump right into it, and then Jenna, the show's all yours.
Yes. Yeah. So Aaron's at the top. Why don't you go first?
So that was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm really excited to see poor Scott Lang be put through the absolute crusher. Kang is terrifying, and that's really one of the boxes we really need to check. Some people didn't like the whole He Who Remains, like Willy Wonka-ness of his character. This man obviously means business. Poor Scott. I was reading the comments and laughing as the countdown was going on. Everybody's fearing for his mental health. I feel like a lot of people are going to be crying to start out Phase 5. The first 2 trips into the multiverse are going to kind of break everybody's hearts. But that's all I needed to see. No more, please.
I echo everything Aaron said. This trailer, I'm glad that this trailer's out and we don't have to hear Goodbye Yellow Brick Road another million times every single time I go to the movie theater. I love that trailer, but I feel like we needed a new one. This feels fresh. This showed more, but not too much. I feel like there's still so much we don't know about this movie, which is exactly what I want. And Kang just looks terrifying. He looks exactly like how I would want him to. So I'm very happy. We'll get into the specifics, but I'm happy, definitely.
I would like to go on record. I have always said this. You can go back and listen to the 3 episodes of Phase Zero that I have managed to break my way into. I have always been a fan of the Ant-Man franchise, and I could not be more excited for this movie because I think this is just going to continue the high bar of quality that we have come to know and love. It's funny. We're just looking at the shot now where the giant Ant-Man falls into spaghetti, and all I had were Mr. Fantastic, like just PTSD. Like I can't handle this. Someone's dying in this movie, and I don't know who it's going to be, and I'm going to cry about it. But at the same time, I think the thing I love about the Ant-Man franchise, so it is probably to me has some of the most heart in any of like the MCU standalone trilogies, etc. And it has the most heart in a different way, in an almost like, I don't want to say wholesome way, because then it almost sounds like, you know, lesser than or whatever. But there's so much relatability for so many characters in the Ant-Man franchise that like there is a character for everyone, literally. And I think it's, now that we have seen him, you know, as like the jokester in the first movie, and then like we got to see him, you know, team up against big threats in the Avengers, but we haven't really seen a real true threat for Ant-Man. And pairing him against Jonathan Majors' Kang is I think going to be that. And good God, I can't wait.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this trailer. I felt a little underwhelmed upon the first watch just because we waited so dang long for it to actually arrive. But upon getting into like the nitty gritty, I definitely agree with what Jim's saying. This feels like a much bigger scale Ant-Man movie, which I think it very rightfully deserves. After Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's kind of polarizing in the grand scale of the MCU, but I don't think anyone disagrees that it is a step down from the first movie. And in terms of the consequential nature to the entire MCU, the only thing that really matters is that post-credit scene and some of the tech they develop within like the second and third act. This feels like the first act of Kang's full story in the MCU. And I love that we're putting that spotlight in Scott Lang's franchise. And there are a lot of individual little frames in this official trailer that get me very, very excited for this movie. And I'm excited to break them down.
I also, our very own Adam Barnhart is in the chat making me laugh because he's like, relatability is right. Both Ant-Man 2 and I are piles of trash. We love you, Adam. That is not true. But we love your sense of humor.
Wow. I will not stand for this Ant-Man 2 slander. Just because it wasn't big or it didn't move the MCU in a giant way doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
I've only
don't remember it though,
so I can't really like judge. I saw it once, like a day before I moved across the country, so like my view of it is completely skewed. But I liked it. It's just I get why it's divisive.
One of the biggest
chatter in the chat. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Biggest tonal whiplash between actual content in the movie and the post-credit scene in the entire MCU.
Absolutely. Yep.
Straight up.
1000%.
A lot of chatter around MODOK.
I was about to say we have to get to the specifics. We have to get to MODOK. Corey Stoll confirmed. I know it was kind of an unspoken thing that he may or may not be involved in this movie. That certainly looks like him when we see him unmasked. And then we got to see him with the mask, looking really cool, like fighting and stuff. So now we know MODOK is in this movie. We only knew from Funko Pops and every other piece of merchandise. I know Aaron will make the crab rangoons, things of that nature joke.
That's
but
right.
It's like we were just waiting so patiently for MODOK to be confirmed in this movie, and here he is. What did you guys think of the first look at him?
I gotta say, Liam, I didn't even think of it until Liam brought it up literally right before the countdown, that he was like, Liam basically goes, that there's no way that is his actual face, right? Like that is a screen. And I didn't necessarily think that could be possible, but for the MCU, maybe I would not be mad if it was a screen that blew up his face. Then he's like actually just like stuck inside this like weird little orb thing. I would love it if it was really his giant face, but I wouldn't be mad if it was a screen. I'll just say that.
I hope it's his real face because like I grew up on Superhero Squad, and like to just bring that into live action MCU, God, that'd be pretty epic.
Also, like I will always go to bat for the MODOK TV show from a couple of years ago. So like the idea of it just being his full face and that just being his proportions, just I want that. It's the weird stuff that we're getting into in these phases, and so I just want them to go as weird as humanly possible with it. Aaron, what did you think?
I think Peyton Reed would argue for the wild giant face if at all possible, unless we had another Kevin situation where Kevin Feige's like, what is this goofiness? Get that out of here. Don't do that. Superhero Squad, a lot of love for Liam in the chat.
Got my little Doctor Strange right there.
Very nice.
That wasn't even on my bingo card for like ever someone even mentioning Superhero Squad, and here we are, January 9th. We got it.
And then talking about other cool looks from the trailer, as we all mentioned, Kang looks so good in this trailer. His suit looks awesome. His cape looks awesome. He just looks terrifying. I am still bitter. I made a meme about it before the trailer while we were waiting for 3 hours. He didn't say the, "Oh, you're an Avenger. Have I killed you before?" line. I'm starting to be convinced that this line is not in the movie at all, and they might just be trolling us, but I would love to be proven wrong and actually see it. What did you guys think of Kang in this trailer?
They could not have cast anyone more perfect than Jonathan Majors for this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
While everybody was doing that whole thing on Twitter where they were showing that thing from Avengers Mightiest Heroes, like, and I was sitting there, I watched that because I was like, I needed to fix, and it's been freaking 4 hours since this game started. The brisket is just cooking and taunting me in the other room. And he really does bring like a wild pathos to it that I am so curious, Jim, to see what happens as there's more, because he's gonna at some point have to act against himself, and they all seem like they are going to be a little bit different, which is just staggering.
I'm fascinated to see they showed us a tiny bit of narrative in this trailer. For an official trailer, this really lacked in what this movie's actually going to be about. But we open with this whole thing about like, I don't care if he's a little untrustworthy. Like, we all lost a lot of time. I lost time with my daughter. I want to get that back. And then towards the end, we had a deal. You're betraying me and all that. What happens in between is super, super intriguing to me. Because like what you're bringing up, Aaron, I envision this trailer. I looked at this movie as we're seeing one variant of Kang, and then we'll see a whole bunch in Kang Dynasty. There's a good chance we could see multiple different variants of Kang in this movie, and they're all negotiating differently. And maybe that's something Scott's not aware of. Maybe he's actively talking with different versions who have different mindsets, and that just kind of gets my theory brain cooking. But yeah, the Kang in this trailer was really awesome, and very, very much towards the end when the sleeve comes off. Oh man, that boy's gonna kill Scott Lang and Michael B. Jordan's Creed in the span of 2 weeks. It's gonna be brutal.
He's gonna save the box office in the process. I do have to say, to Liam's point, like I'm glad that they seem to at least be marketing the movie not as just a straight Mysterio situation of like, oh man, this guy's so good. I totally trust this guy, who everyone who's ever read a Spider-Man comic knows that he's a bad guy, and we're gonna get to that point eventually. I like that we're kind of towing the line between the two of them. So I'm very curious to see, like Liam said, how that actually evolves. Is Scott Lang dying? Because this certainly makes us want to believe that Scott Lang is dying.
It's definitely going to be R.I.P. Hope. Sorry.
I was going to say, if he is not dying, who else is dying? I feel like this could very well be like Michael Douglas's last thing. Like, I don't know, but what do y'all think? What's your death pool for this
Hope
movie?
is dying. R.I.P. Hope.
I'm going the other way. I think both Janet and Hank go out together.
I don't want Janet. I
don't want either of them to die, period. But if they're going to die, they need to die together, because you can't separate them again. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's true.
I said on last week's show I felt like Hank was done, but the Disney mom theory in the back of my head is like, now Liam's right. Both of them go kick that bucket.
The like rough. Frozen parents, just like they both just die off screen. Like, I don't want Janet to die in this movie, because if she's in the quantum realm and she's dying, it's like she was trapped there for decades. She finally escapes, and then she just goes back and dies. That would be really sad to me, and I want Michelle Pfeiffer to not have that arc. So
I want Michelle Pfeiffer to come out of, finally enjoy some time outside of the quantum realm and become Wasp.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all we can hope for.
Surprisingly, lack of Cassie in this trailer.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't mind it, though.
Cassie in like as we expect her. That we're at this part in the trailer where it's like whatever Ant-Man is doing with that World War Z like dupes of himself, building all the way up to the thing. I don't know what that's about, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, that looked amazing. I will say, like, I don't mind that we didn't have as much Cassie when, like, the whole inciting incident of the first trailer was, like, her experimenting with the tech that, like, sucks them into the quantum realm. So, like, I thought they balanced it well. I'm excited. I still am so, confused by her superhero name of, like, she's Stature, she's Sting, she's Cassie. Like, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what that ends up being.
I did want to bring up a point about Cassie, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but is it like confirmed at the beginning of this trailer? Was she spending time in jail? Like they opened a cell door. So was that known before this trailer?
I feel like they hinted at it. I feel like I vaguely remember them saying like she's kind of following in her dad's footsteps in that regard. I could be completely misremembering, but I feel like that somehow came out somewhere. I did want to bring up, I feel like every day Aaron's time loop theory about this movie becomes increasingly correct, of just like that's the reason why we haven't gotten the line from Kang at the end of the trailers, because like they're going to replay this a million times. So like, Aaron, are you still on that theory? Do you still think that could happen?
I mean, the after images shot of Dragon Ball Z do make me feel like we're dealing with Groundhog Day, it's been 1 week by the bare naked ladies type situation over here. I think that we're headed for that a little bit. And that, I can't trust you. Let's get back to like the actual heist and the weird World War Z, which, Jesus, Jim, I haven't thought about that movie in so long.
Me neither.
That's totally
that is the only memorable shot from that movie. They put it on the poster.
Oh man. Yeah, but I think we're headed for Time Loop City. I mean, if it's gonna be like all these Ant-Man movies are gonna be heists, like having it be a time heist where he's like basically playing like, you know, I guess Among Us or something against himself. Where he's like, I went there. I saw me go in the engine room this time.
This is going to be the most Rick and Morty Marvel movie ever.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Jeff Loveness, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
When this is like the 5th Rick and Morty alum to write a Marvel thing. It was about time. We're going to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting to see, you know, just because of the other ties to the MCU that obviously this will have an impact on and things that we've already made connections are. I'm really curious to see if the Shang-Chi connections, you know, really kind of come into play. Obviously, we see those big giant ring things kind of all floating around, and so you know what's the deal with that? How does I got to imagine Loki and the TVA, you know, have to play some kind of role here, if not like just for like a post-credit scene or something. Only just because I mean, I don't know. The Marvel and the post-credit scenes for all of Phase 4 made zero sense. And so I'm kind of hoping this movie just brings us back to post-credit scenes serve to push the universe forward in a very tangible way. Now that we're finally on the road to the Kang Dynasty stuff, that this is something that we'll go. A great comment in the chat. Ravonna should show up. That would
I would love that so much.
That would be great. But so yeah, so like there's a lot here. I feel like you know, I think the initial kind of reaction was, well, did this trailer really tell us a lot? I think like if you kind of go frame by frame and just like look at a number of aspects of it, it definitely raises a lot of questions. I think the story is going to be pretty straightforward. This trailer does a great job of it. Everyone looks good. The costumes look great. Bring it. I can't wait. I need Phase 5 to start now, please.
And
I will. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking on Jim's point of this, like starting the Kang Dynasty storyline, my favorite part about the marketing today was the tagline.
Yes.
It's the beginning of a new dynasty, because it reminded me of one of the worst subtitles in the MCU so far, Avengers Age of Ultron. You mean the week of Ultron. Like he was this giant age, right? It lasted, what, 3-4 days? Like this genuinely feels like, oh, if we're starting now, and we have 2 Avengers movies with this guy possibly being the main villain of both, it feels like an authentic dynasty. And I think by emphasizing that now, planting that seed now, the same way they scattered the Infinity Stones across Phase 1, 2, and 3 up to Infinity War, it's only going to emphasize the specialness of Avengers Kang Dynasty when it comes around. So subtle thing I really loved. That tagline's awesome.
See, they just called it Age of Ultron because it was how old he was. It had nothing to do with the span of time. Because, like you said, it was a week. So, other interesting stuff relating to this movie.
James Spader.
I know. I every day I mourn that we didn't get more James Spader in the MCU on your behalf.
Waste of James Spader.
So even before the trailer came out, in this like 3 hours of time that we were sitting and waiting for the trailer, a new press release for the movie came out on Disney's PR website. And so it has a lot of actually interesting information. David Dastmalchian is back in this movie. He was spotted at the bottom of the poster if you looked really, really closely. But he's not playing Kurt. He's playing a new character who's named Veb. So Veb is not in any Marvel thing as far as I know, so I'm just assuming based off of that name that he's probably part of like the rogue people who are in the quantum realm that we definitely saw in the first trailer. But I'm always down for more Dastmalchian. I would love to see how they narratively explain that he looks the same, or maybe it's not even, maybe he just voices like a CGI character.
He's just his character's brother, that's all.
That could be cool too. But
It's
yeah, what
just
do y'all?
his twin brother.
That would also work. But yeah, what do y'all think that he's coming back?
I mean,
So with variants, can he just be a variant from a different timeline?
Ooh.
Like he can always be someone else. It's a get out of whatever free card. That's how Jim's gonna get his James Spader back like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm still mad we didn't have that opportunity in WandaVision. It's every day I think about WandaVision.
I just wanted him to like.
I
wanted him to just like ring the doorbell of their house in like a bow tie and just be like, "Hello, I'm the dad. I'm here for
That's
the sitcom."
all we needed.
Like, it would have been
Spader
perfect.
milkman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a big question that still kind of remains unanswered that I'm kind of glad the trailer didn't answer. Is who trapped Kang in the quantum realm, or this Kang in the quantum realm, right? Like how and why is he here, and is it, and which Kang is it? And like I think those bubble headed dudes, like who are they? Are they part of the like time people who live in Timeopolis, or are they like just like weird Kang thing? Like are those also Kangs, right? Like I just imagine like all of those orbs just like going clear, and it's just a bunch of Jonathan Majors, whatever the plural of Jonathan Majors is. Would like that would be incredible.
I do like Brandon said in the chat, like it would be cool if it was Immortus and it's just like Kang trapping himself and like getting him into this whole cycle. Like that could be definitely cool. Like another theory that I know people probably have, which like the press release confirms, is Bill Murray is confirmed to be playing Krylar, which if you want to go back and listen to our first immediate reaction episode about the first trailer, Liam broke down Krylar very well. But so yeah, we have confirmation of that. He is kind of a bad guy. So that could be an option as well. Also in the press release, we had a thing about Katie O'Brien is playing Gentora, who in the comics, Gentora is the niece of Jarella, who's the queen of Subatomica. And she's really only appeared in kind of recent stuff, like a lot of Realm of Kings and Incredible Hulks, like tie-ins and miniseries. But so we're getting Hulk related things here. We're getting Subatomica related things here. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to thread the line of all of the different subatomic worlds in the Marvel universe and how that all bleeds together. So that's a cool thing too.
Okay, but the other theory that is popping up that I just cannot entertain, so I need everyone to just wipe this from their memory.
Oh boy.
William Jackson Harper is in this movie as a character named Quaz.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to be Quasar. No. Quasar is a terrible character in general.
Adam,
so
Adam,
William
cover
Jackson
your
Harper
ears, baby.
should not be wasted on a schmuck like Quasar. Give him someone better.
But so if he, like, my theory is just that he's playing somebody completely unrelated in the movie. Is that then in your mind a better use of William Jackson Harper than Quasar?
Yes, because then at least he can say, like, I did the MCU thing and whatever and fine. Like, I would hate for him to be trapped by the quantum bell things of Quasar and just be terrible.
Brandon is extending your jail sentence as we speak.
No, we don't. He doesn't need to be Quasar. If he's going to be a different hero, pick a better one. Quasar's terrible. He doesn't need to be in the MCU.
He can, like, quiet he's Reed Richards theories, which, like, he was a very good Reed fan cast. It's just like as we've said on this show a million times, I hope we can eventually get to the point where we have a Fantastic Four and we don't have that conversation. But he would have made a very good Reed, but it would have been very weird to throw Reed.
It would have been great as Reed. I would rather him just like have a fun little cameo in the MCU or get a better. If he's going to be a hero, be a better one. Not Quasar. I don't care. And I know I'm not going to be here when the movie comes out eating my words because it's not happening.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes,
Liam. I was saying Benedict Cumberbatch once passed on Malekith because he thought he'd get something better down the line, and he got Doctor Strange. So I'm hearing your words, Jim.
Thank you.
Once there's like a Quasar special presentation, I'm going to be very curious to see your reaction.
Oh Lord, whoa, Jimmy.
Nobody's watching that.
Oh no.
Wow. So Liam added some very interesting Ant-Man facts because you guys know that's kind of his specialty. So take it away. Run through some of those so we don't have Jim yelling about Quasar for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, I got some numbers. Quantumania is actually going to be the longest of the Ant-Man franchise, 125 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is not like crazy long for an MCU movie. But based on how we've been going throughout phase 4, it does kind of align with that, just like a little bit over 2 hours. The first one was 117. The second one was 118. So this is the first Ant-Man movie to break 2 hours. And it's the second time a streaming character has launched into main antagonist of a film territory. It happened with Wanda in Doctor Strange 2. It's happening now with He Who Remains, Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. It's the 5th MCU appearance for Paul Rudd. Peyton Reed is now the 2nd MCU director to helm a full trilogy. The first was John Watts with the Spider-Man movies. The 3rd will be James Gunn this upcoming May with the Guardians trilogy. But for right now, Peyton Reed is the 2nd. And this is the 5th consecutive MCU sequel. The last time we got an MCU original standalone film was Eternals back in November 2021. And the next time we get a true first edition movie debuting a hero will be Blade, whenever that comes out. So from now until then, all the theatrical MCU movies are straight up sequels. And yeah, it's pretty cool for Ant-Man to be kicking off phase 5, because the Ant-Man franchise has also played like a pretty pivotal role in past phases too. I believe it kicked off phase 2 or no, phase 3. Right?
I thought it ended
phase 3.
too,
Or did
That's why it's one of the best franchises. See,
Age of
everyone wanted to
Ultron.
give me crap, and here I am. Liam just proved me right with stats. Thank you.
It was one of the bridges between Infinity War and Endgame. Like the Ant-Man franchise has been it's been the bridge. It's been the bridge of the MCU. Put that on a shirt.
The heart and soul of the MCU. That's what it's been.
And those are my numbers. Ta-da.
Awesome.
You mentioned Eternals, and all I could hear in my head was, "We don't talk about Bruno, but with Eternals."
One day we will find out what is happening with any of those
Eternals.
characters.
Listen, Harry's out there somewhere.
I know.
He's
To
out there
Jim's
somewhere.
to Jim's point, it would be
Not if
refreshing.
Amon
if
has her way. She's like, get him out of here. We don't need him.
To Jim's point earlier, it will be refreshing if this movie does have a post-credit scene that doesn't just establish a completely new character that we then don't immediately know where they're going to be next. Because like between Harry Styles and Clea and Hercules, it's like it would be nice if this just is something that propels Phase 5 forward. So we'll just have to wait and see.
But Lord help me, if this has a post-credit scene for Thunderbolts and it's something completely unrelated, I will lose my dang mind. Give me something that matters.
It'll be for Echo, like something
Give me-
completely in the opposite realm.
Give me something that matters.
Well, since he's a young Avenger, wouldn't it make sense for her to find someone else her age to like talk
Yeah.
with about this? Like
Yeah.
Riri's thing with the quantum whatever computer.
Okay.
I would hope that that's where it would go, because I just want the kids to have their own thing.
See, I was thinking
I'm
a
gonna
certain
have to wait till
archer
phase
that
6.
Cassie is friends with.
That's
that would be
true.
cool too.
You know, she's got a movie coming out soon.
We'll have to wait and see.
I
That would be
love
very cool. All right. Well, so I think that's it for our immediate reaction episode number 4. Does anyone have any final thoughts about this trailer?
I mean,
Nope.
he's breaking timelines, and more than that. Cannot wait, everybody. Can't wait. Let's get it going. All
You
right.
got the perfect glassware for the occasion. I love it. Well, so Aaron, since you're on the big board, do you have any final thoughts, any plugs, anything you want to leave the viewers with?
At Simulate Hornet on Twitter. You guys can find me there. I went to Super Nintendo World on Friday for comicbook.com and tried to learn everything I could about it. They will not tell me about the amiibos, the power bands, but that's what they are. If you want to go read about that, go on my Twitter, go on the comicbook.com Twitter and go read about that. Jenna, it's been lovely. Jim, nice to see you out your cell. Liam, wonderful work on the stats, my guy.
All right, Jim, do you have anything you want to leave the viewers and listeners with?
Yeah, no, I love the show. I'm glad Brandon has decided not to come back, and that the show is now mine. And this is great. I look forward to doing more shows with you guys. I think we have great rapport and relationship, and it's going to be a ton of fun. We don't need Brandon; it's fine.
And it's at Jim Viscardi on all of the
Jim
socials.
Viscardi.
All right, Liam, do you have anything to plug?
Well, thank you as always, everyone, for having me on the show. It's always an honor to link up with the Phase Zero crew. I'm at Liam T. Crowley on all socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I've shared a lot of the content I've had recently. Nothing crazy new this week, but check out my Logan Lerman interview if you haven't already. That one was very, very special to me, and I was very happy with how it turned out. And beyond that, if you're looking to go to the movies this weekend, A Man Called Otto shocked me. Had zero expectations whatsoever. Left in tears. Tom Hanks' best performance since A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing that, but I have one more thing. What would really, truly make my week? And here's what I'm asking the audience for one thing. Tweet at Brandon at Brandon Davis BD.
Oh no!
And let him know how much you loved the fact that Jim was on the show today. just do that.
Oh boy. Well, while you are also doing that, make sure you follow the Phase Zero Twitter account at Phase Zero CB. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are just over 9,000 subscribers. We really want to get those numbers up, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. We will have a regular show on Wednesday, breaking down some of the news that we've missed over the past couple weeks, and hopefully some other fun stuff as well. And I'm at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on all of the socials. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with us, especially this late at night. I hope everyone, especially those of us or those of our listeners on the other coast, get some sleep. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
See you.